Yo, we live. What's up, everybody? We are going over, let me mute myself here. Subscriber coaching. So this is the portal if you want to get coaching. Okay. You'll be just like Fergs here. What's up, Fergs? Just commented on their block start. Can you help with block start? Block start. Thoughts? Yes, I have thoughts. Come join the live stream. Going over it now. So, Fergs, we're getting to you right now. Provide the link for Fergs. Great name, by the way, Fergs. Come join the live stream. Okay, so this is how we do it. We have frame by frame coaching. Welcome to the Speed Lab. We're here to help you get better. We have a lot of people that are new to Speed Lab, so thank you for joining. We have 65 members. We got Dobby here with getting a new PB. We're going to go over that. Satchel getting some W's. Fergs wants some block start. We've got Keith. Welcome, Keith. We're going to get to you today as well. And Rick. What's up, Rick? January indoor 467. That's awesome. We're going to get to you as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have max acceleration. How do you accelerate to max speed? It is a question that I get asked often, so I figured why not make a video about it. I have it planned. I just need to rehearse it a bit more because I want it to be excellent before I share it. So that will be, hopefully I get to record that tonight. Let me get my screen sharing going so that we can get our frame by frame coaching in. 20. There we go. Okay. So let's start with Fergs. Fergs, you're the most recent. So we are going to start with you. Okay. So Fergs asked, what do I think about this start? Technically, they asked block start. Thoughts? Question mark. I will give you thoughts, Ferg. Let's see here. So before we even begin, back foot not fully planted on that back pedal. Okay, so that's tip one, Ferg. But don't worry, I have a checklist that is going to help you automatically do that. So you won't even have to think about it. Okay, what I'm looking for, in addition to the back foot on that pedal, is a stretch in this calf. I need to see a stretch. And right now you're tensed at the ankles. There's no stretch in that calf. This heel needs to plant all the way back against that pedal. To be completely honest, the spacing looks a little interesting, but not horrible. Again, the checklist, Fergs, will help you with that. Shoulders over hands, nice. Flat back, not horrible, nice. Well, let's see what you do. Good extension. Nice driving back into the track. Looks like you fall a little bit there. So let's see. Very nice, Fergs. This is great. So the only note so far is that back foot needs to be against that back pedal. I need it planted against this pedal. And here we go, frame by frame coaching. Now this right arm, this one, looks like it goes across your body a little bit, but I'm not so worried about that. I'm not going to lie, because rotational strength, rotational force is a big factor. So not going to be so hard on you about the arm coming across as long as you're stepping straight. Look at this. This is awesome. Okay. Love to see it. That's extended off the hip. Let me see. That's the hip extension, knee extension, ankle extension. Get you into that nice flying, floating position. Now, and that's awesome. This foot drives back. Big fan of that. Eyes stay down, but looking forward. Big fan of that. Now, this is one thing. So this angle, I need it to be, how do you get it to go the other way? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So the way that this foot is swinging through here is cutting off the knee, right? What I mean by cutting off the knee, you see the foot comes across the knee. I need it to come down here at the heel, okay? So you're stepping over, which means that you're going to start standing up very soon, and you're only 3 steps into your drive phase, right? Look at how this one hits. This foot hits a little bit, or I guess not a little bit, but definitely in front of the hips. We need this foot to fire back, like your left one does. But again, this angle is no bueno. You should be okay. You should still be rotating that. Let's back up. So you're cycling out of the blocks. If you ever heard that term, Fergs, that's what you're doing, which means that this foot needs to come. Oh, don't worry, I'll learn how to use this one day. Okay. This foot needs to swing through at a low angle. Right now, you're coming through at this angle to cut the knee off. What we need off of this pedal is that foot to come low recovery here and then snap back down to the track. What you're doing is you're stepping through, and it's taking a lot of time for you to get back down to the track. And then instead of snapping back down underneath you, you're snapping out in front of you. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I'll provide some resources to you, Ferg. But this is a decent drive phase minus the angles. What I mean is like, you see how high and tight this heel is here? Right? Look at that angle. Okay. We're too high we're coming up too high with the heel to butt there. It needs to still be swinging through low here. I mean, you're only. So here we go. We're 1 step, we're 2 step, 3 step, and you're already in full cycle mode. We need to work on low heel recovery. And like I said, I have some resources. inside of the Speed Lab that'll help you. So I will point you there. Other than that, your drive looks pretty good. I'm actually a little curious as what. Let me see. So we're going to say, thanks for sharing. These look great. You got to give some positive reinforcement, right? Wondering what your times are. And what did we say? Also, one note is you begin to cycle a bit too soon out of the blocks. Are you familiar with low heel recovery? Question mark. Okay. So we just have to get a understanding of what Fergs knows and does not know, because as a coach, what we're looking for is just patterns, and it's tough to form patterns with 1 10-second rep. You know, if we were in person, I may not even say anything. I might just watch Fergs do a couple of block starts before I intervene with coaching suggestions. So I just wonder, what time are you running, Fergs? Do you understand low heel recovery or not? I'm sure that you do. Based on these block starts, it seems as though you have a little knowledge there. So that's what I want to know, along with providing for some extra resources inside of Speed Lab. Okay, so let's see who else we got. Let's see. We can go over. Let's go over. Where'd you go? Rick Clark. This was my first tracks race in September, and I was quite a bit overweight after Christmas. No problem, Rick. You know, something we all do. It was a mixed heat, so you can see I was running against a few girls. The first 200 was about 31 seconds, so we would expect the 400 time to be 33 plus 35, so 68. But the wheels started falling off at about 250 to 300. I ran slightly quicker in February. I have joined a sprint group at my club after training the last few years with a middle distance group. Well, that will help a ton, Rick, for sure. Sometimes as a master's athlete, you have to go with what is available. That I understand. I said, hi, Rick, thanks for sharing. Understandable you slowed down around the 250, being that this was your first race of the season. Following the holidays, everything is a bit slower. 31 is a nice split. What did you run? 64? Question mark? Why would I say that? If 33 plus 35 is 68. And what is your goal? Being a part of a group is also amazing game plan, especially a sprint group. Overall, your race looks smooth. Looks like you just need more reps. So sadly, I slowed down pretty significantly in the second 200, finishing in 67.15. I said 68. That's kind of close. I ran the 400 4 weeks later. This time I ran the first 200 in about 30 seconds. So 32 plus 34 is 66. But I ran the second in 36 seconds, again, finishing in 66. And he provided a link. My speed has really sucked in recent years as I have done too much mileage. I ran a 57.8 as a 43-year-old, but got sucked into distance during COVID years. I mean, that's understandable. There's not many track people meeting, although COVID was a great time for my business, being outdoors and 6 feet apart. But I get it. community was kind of broken apart. So really tough to find a track community. I guess my goal for this year is to get faster at the sprints and try to get a carryover into my 400. I'm not sure what a carryover is. I have also stopped the mileage and the jogging. Let's go. That's a W, Rick. That is a W. I have run a 30.1 in the 200, and I think a low 28s 200 is possible again. So, Rick, so I suppose my first aim would be to run 62 for the 400. All right, Rick. Thanks for sharing. I am currently live answering your questions. I will provide the recording. So let's say that you are running 30 seconds in the 200, which you are. I would expect your 400 to be, I would expect your first split to be 32 seconds. I would expect your second split to be 34 seconds, and that would equal 66, which you ran. You ran a 57.8 at, well, 57.8 is quite a bit faster than 66. I think a low 28s in the 200. So a low 28s, let's just say 28.0. That would give me, for my bro math, a 30-second split in the first 200, along with a 32-second rebound 200. Is that what you mean by carryover? So that would be 62. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a good goal. You know what? Let's go ahead and watch some of Rick's races and just see what happens here. I haven't. Oh, this is Rick. What would you say to this? This time, I ran the first 200 in around 30 seconds. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're splitting 30 in the 400, then you probably are at a 28. I would start with trying to get my 200 meter time down and let the 400 meter time come down naturally as a result of a faster 200 meter time. Watch the replay of my frame by frame coaching, and let's follow up to figure out how to. Okay, so let's watch Rick's 400. And so this will be 67 1 from Rick. Uh-oh, is my iPad pen dying? Or maybe my iPad. I think it's my pen. Okay, so this is Rick. Let's start that over. Frame by frame here, eh? Okay, Rick. Let's see what you got. Nice little drive. 200, indoor starts on the turn. Always difficult. This looks, it says Glasgow. You got a nice stride there, Rick. Nice arms, not quite as aggressive as sprinter arms, but that's okay. We already went over your background of a little bit of distance race. Nice battling off that turn. You can stay long. Not trying to hurt any of the girls, that's for sure. You know, back here is where I would say like fight for position and everything, but we're not so worried about that in this race here. But good fighting for position. That is good position by you. And the stride stays long, although the knees are low. And then we get really long and really slow at the end. Okay. So, Rick, here's what I'll say. I think that you have nice stride, you have nice form. Before I say that, actually, hold on. Let me watch this again. Yeah. Your first, what would that be? Indoor track, 200 meters. So your first 100, your first 150, your first 200, first 125 looks really good. And then you hit the wall, right? So the way that I like to describe it is that when things get challenging as sprinters, you just fall to your lowest standard. So as someone who trained in distance, your lowest standard is going to be distance, form, and distance cadence and a distance stride. So the more that you continue to rewire your brain, and I'm not saying that as analogy, you're actually literally rewiring your brain for speed. The more that you begin to program that with your sprint group, the higher that your standard becomes in terms of what a slow run is. Because let's face it, at the end of a 400, everyone's going to be tired. And what we want to train for, rather than maximizing for, or like what people will do is they'll realize that they're having trouble finishing the 4. And so they'll think that they need to train longer to go further, but that's not true. We want to train faster and shorter to a certain degree, like not feed the cats, not for a 400 runner for sure, but we want to train faster and we want that to become the default so that when I fall, when the monkey's on my back, when I'm stuck in the ground, when I'm really tired, my default is only my lowest standard, which is going to be your 5th rep of a 250, right? That's going to look very different than your 5th rep of a 500 meter repeat. So that's the kind of training that I hope that you'll be doing with your new sprint group. That would be my advice, because there's nothing like, again, this first 160, 170, 150 is probably the pace that you're looking for. I don't know that it's 57, but it's faster than a 66. I know that. So the challenge, on top of learning how to run the 400 indoor, which is a little different than running the 400 outdoor, the challenge is going to be making that your default training. So I hope that makes sense for Rick. Make sure that I'm telling Rick, your first 160 in your race is exactly what you're looking for. So I think you can get back to 57 or whatever your new goal time is with proper training. Boom. Replied to Rick, do we have time for one more? I think we do. Let's see who else we got here. I think I know who we're going for. Apologies, like track season makes things kind of not kind of crazy, like very crazy. Okay, so Rick, hopefully you get my messages and you reply. Just DM me inside of here, and I got you. Fergs K. DM me. I got you. Should we go for where's Keith? We got Rick. Here you go, Keith. All right, Keith, I got you. Okay, so just to start off my phone, maybe not enough to see in here, but I'm also on my own, so it's the best shot I got. No problem. What I need to do is teach everyone how to film a bit, even when you're by yourself. But that's not on you. That is on me, Keith. So what I did for Keith was I sent him. Let me share. So Keith and I were in the DMs. I asked him some questions. I provided some resources, the same resources that I'm going to provide to Fergs in terms of block start. So he followed up with advice. He says, just got back from session. I set up how the video says, but I feel I'm not getting full pressure on the back pedal. Starts feel better, especially my arms, but I just didn't feel totally stuck to the back pedal. That was Ferg's problem as well. I didn't have someone to record me, but I will try to get a video analysis in my next session. So he sent me a video, which we're looking at in a second. And after watching the video, which looked good, so we'll look at it. Keith responds with, I definitely feel more pressure on the blocks by pushing from my hands. I told him to engage his hands and his arms and his shoulders, but still feel it more on my fingers than my feet. And that makes total sense. I provided him some analysis as to how to get rid of that pressure on his fingers, and we're waiting to hear back from Keith. But while we're waiting to hear back from Keith, let's review what he shared with us. Wow, we have a lot more to cover. All right, Keith, another one of my masters homies. Okay, so angles look good. Angles look great. This is what I told Keith. And this is what he's talking about, right? He's what he's saying is that his hands feel a lot of the pressure. What I told Keith is that that's completely normal to feel the pressure on your hands. It is something that every athlete experiences when they go over proper block starts. It's not easy to get used to, but you do get used to it. And creating this, right? The goal is the goal is to be connected to the pedals, pushing this way, and also use your hands, fingers, shoulders to push back this way. You want the tension, you want tension throughout your body, kind of meeting here at the hips because that's your power source, so that when you go to explode out of the blocks, you have some good leverage. Now, what I couldn't see at the time because it was not frame by frame coaching, Keith, so forgive me for just noticing this, but you rock back, right? The reason you rock back is to relieve some of that pressure from your fingers before you get going, and or because you don't have explosive power in your upper body. So, that's things like med ball throws, that's thing like clap push-ups, stuff like that, to get your upper body explosive as well as your lower body. And actually, what I told Keith is that I understand you feel it a little bit more in your fingers. So what I would rather you do is shift your weight back just a little bit, relieve some of the pressure off your fingers to get a block start without having that extra movement in the beginning. So that's a nice push off the pedal. That's a nice low heel. That's all we can see with Keith's video, unfortunately. But I'm waiting to see what happens with Keith. If those tips help, Keith, please let me know. All right, let's see what else we can get to. Or do I have to leave? Satchel sent me like 6 videos, so I think I had to wait for Satchel. Davi, new personal best. We're gonna have to come back to you as well. Let me write this down. So we got to have Satchel, Davi. I might have to get back on tonight. We're leaving for a track meet, so I have to get my recording in. Who else? Another someone else. Satchel, Davi. Oh, yes. Who was that? Ricky. Ricky and I have been chatting today. He has a race coming up. Good luck, Ricky. I will give you some frame by frame coaching. I think, honestly, tonight or Saturday. I won't be here Friday, unfortunately. But Ricky helped. There's some more people in here that have videos in the messages, but I've got them on my iPad. So that's what we'll do next time. Satchel, Davi, Ricky, Shane, and Shane. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by. I got to get to practice. But I'm going to get these coaching videos out to my athletes so that they can improve. If you're interested in getting your film reviewed, go ahead and click the link below. Drop it in. Frame by frame coaching. That's my pitch. That's my lead magnet, they call it. My offer. Frame by frame coaching. Yeah, he never had it like this. Okay, bye. See you later.